Zoom.
Yeah. Yep.
If you record locally, you have to wait when you close the meeting because it takes a
Right.
pretty
It
long
takes
time, right?
forever. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
So,
why I want to make sure that every time when I record, it's always the district account, not my own account.
right.
Yep. Ah, okay. More people showing up.
Hello, Bob.
Sorry, Laura.
No, that's
We
okay.
are being recorded now.
Um, let's see here.
Oh, by the way, we have to finish at 6 o'clock because some of us have another meeting at 6.
Oh, gosh.
Well, that's
Okay.
fine. Then nobody talk and let's get through this quick.
Okay.
I like your attitude, Larry.
As Michael had requested, I did include a stub period budget versus actual so that you could see what had changed since the last time we met. Also, I spoke yesterday to Frank Garrity, and he did not ever get that old check, so that's 1 out of 2 mysteries solved for those accounts payable from last year. So I'll cut that check and get Jeannie to sign it next week when I get the grant checks out the door too.
And that wasn't the pile that you guys got out using that confusing time that you have to use other accounts and all
No,
that?
no, this was a check that was written in June of last year before I was treasurer.
Right, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
you can get it?
it was lost, and so that's why it's
Oh,
sitting
okay.
in accounts payable.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Laura, just do me a favor when you do that, just make a fake income item and then a fake expense item, so that way they kind of offset each other.
Well, it
Otherwise,
should
it's gonna
already,
throw the prior year's balance out of whack.
no, I reversed it at the end of last year. It's just.
But
It's
did you reverse it before Joe did the taxes or after?
all I did was void the check and with a journal entry, put it in accounts payable.
Right, but if you did it before, if you did it after Joe did the tax return, it's gonna throw him out of whack.
Can he send me a copy of the tax return and I'll compare it? I mean,
Sure, I should have. I thought I sent out copies already, but I'll
or
see if I
maybe
have
you
it.
did. I apologize if you did.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll find it and then I'll get it out to you.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Myself a note, about the old AP. All right. That's the miscellaneous revenue line is those 3 checks that got refunded from the old service foundation. The RILA income is, as we discussed last month, bringing the restricted funds back into income. And, I bought some stamps, I think, and, envelopes. And the online solutions is the Zoom fee every month. And I got reimbursed for some mileage. That's all that's happened since last time. And I
Alright.
got the spreadsheet from Pam for the first round of grant payments, so those will go out early next week because Jeannie's gonna be away this weekend. So
And also, actually, Laura, you suggested a wonderful idea. This is what we should have been doing all along. As you know, all the nonprofits are doing exactly like that, right? When you send a check out, you need to accompany the check with some explanation of what it is. And in our case, it's a perfect opportunity every year to promote the Rotary Foundation, right? And by sending just a check, I know that in past years when the treasurer, a club treasurer, who typically have no idea of what's going on with service projects, they receive a check, they deposit it, and it's just simply a lost opportunity for us to talk about these money are coming back because of Rotarians' generosity. So thank you for suggesting that. So Andy is going to draft a letter and we're going to put that together with the checks that we're sending out.
Sure. Okay.
So thank you for that suggestion.
I just, I didn't know what the process was in the past, and I just think it's kind of silly for me to send the checks back to Pamela, when that just delays the checks getting to the club.
Right.
That's
Right.
a step.
Well, directly, and we're gonna give you we're gonna email you a letter that you can send out, so everybody will know why they're getting this money.
Great. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, very good.
By the way, the suggestion is great, Michael, so this one, this way is much easier just to look at the differences between our last review and today.
Okay, good. We'll continue.
Good. Glad it
all
worked.
right. Now we got the short-term youth exchange budgets. Does everybody have a copy of that? That went out, I think, just a couple days before. Does
Mhm.
everybody have it? If not, I can share it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, it was with the other financial reports at the edge.
Right. All right, so here's the short-term youth exchange. It balances out with a $5,000 contribution from Bob from the Service Foundation, Bob Ziglarski, and a 5,000 district contribution. Does anybody on here have any questions or concerns about this as presented?
Yeah, Michael, that conversation, you were part of that conversation, right? So about the $5,000, since Michael is the treasurer for the Service Foundation, so that's why it's good that we can ask directly.
Yeah, I saw the back and forth. I don't think I've gotten from Bob his directive to give the money, but I'll ask him for it. Because I like to have something,
Get a
Sent it in the
confirmation,
email,
right?
Mike.
yeah, I want to have something clean from him that says, give this money. So I'll get it. I don't,
Yeah.
as I said, I don't remember seeing it, but if I have it, I'll use it. And if I don't have it, I'll ask him for it. And then you'll
Thank
get the
you.
check. Mhm.
Thank you very much. This way it's clean, it's clear, it's confirmed.
Right, and that'll make everything kind of work out, assuming everything follows the budget. So at least for now, I'll say, let's just accept the budget as presented, and then we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Laura and I'll keep an eye on it for this coming year. Make sure that, it stays current, because that'll be mostly handled through the end of June.
I think we're gonna see a number of changes in this budget. I'm not sure. I talked to Jim today. He was going to reach out to the travel agent and see if we can confirm the price that's on there for the flights. And we had a meeting yesterday with a number of folks that are going to get involved in the project. And I think we'll be able to hopefully reduce the bus transportation fees a little bit. But I don't right now, frankly, have a high level of confidence, that we're not off by $10,000 or $15,000 here. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you think we'll be within a reasonable range?
I think we'll be within a reasonable range, but I'm not sure what's there is precise. That's for sure.
yeah, I mean, that's not something that we have investigated, and then, any one of us or Jim have looked at the current pricing for any of this stuff. This is just like numbers that we put down, based on
All
last
right.
year.
I mean, let me ask this. Do we have time to alter like student payments, and that if we are significantly off, instead of being 4,200? Because I think the first budget I saw was 4,300 each payment. And then, maybe we have to go to 4,500. So, I mean, is that an option? Is that something that they've already said, okay, you're paying 4,200 and that's it?
We did announce that it's 4,200, and right now we
You did,
already
okay.
have 17 applications. But I think there are a lot of opportunity out there for us to reduce the cost for some of these items. Some items might cost more. The biggest ticket item, just like Bob said, is the airfare. But
Sure.
I mean, the airfare from
That's half the
JFK,
cost.
right? For just one example, Bob and I were discussing earlier, the airfare was always in and out from JFK. Now for JFK, I mean, we never really, I don't think we ever looked at going out from Newark. Going out from Newark, that will save a humongous amount of transportation, busing costs. So
Wow.
we need to look at all those alternatives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus
I
it's a
went to
better,
the
plus it's a better
United-
place to fly out of.
I went to the United site today, and I mean, it's not apples to apples, so we can't tell, but United flights to Osaka are range between $2,000 and $2,500, and they're almost identical from JFK and Newark. There's no reason to go to JFK based on those numbers. So that's something that we have to pursue with the travel agent, because that would save, $2,000-$3,000 in transportation fees, probably more, because there's multiple trips out there.
Right.
So that's something that we have to pick up the Japanese students there, return them there, then we have to bring our students out there, return back. So, I mean, there's 4 trips to JFK. That's got to be $5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah,
you know,
and
with
just
a
the
big
time
bus.
savings and the lack of traffic problems.
Right.
Will the Japanese students, will they agree to come into Newark rather than JFK?
I think if we ask them to, I mean,
Okay.
there's no,
Yeah,
unless there's a major difference coming from Japan, and I mean, there never was. I don't know whether there is now to JFK. I don't see why.
all right.
No
Well, I
problem.
mean, we're not gonna be able to solve anything here
No, but
tonight.
I just
so-
wanted to make you aware.
Just-
We got work to do here. So
We've got work to do. All right, so
Yeah.
we'll still anticipate a even budget based on the district contribution and Bob's contribution. We'll just have to revisit this, and I'll leave it on the agenda, so we'll revisit it maybe, every month or every couple months.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right, very
And I don't-
good.
I don't understand why we need permission to get our district money back, but I'll leave that for another discussion.
Well, it wasn't even our district. If that was pre 7475 money.
Okay.
All right, so the RILA contracts, my understanding is the revised amount has come out, or is
They have accepted the
revisions?
contract. I have not received the written contract from them yet, but I have an email that they've accepted all of our changes.
Fantastic.
So,
Excellent.
we just got to get the contract from their legal department and get it signed.
All right, good job, Bob and Ellie.
And I sent out the notice to the clubs today on the program, so.
Excellent. All right,
And
district conference is our next item. Everybody get that budget that I just sent out to you folk earlier today.
Yeah,
So I apologize for the lateness, but I just wanted to make sure you at least maybe had a chance to take a 5-minute perusal of it beforehand.
can you explain the revenue side of it? I don't understand where that money, is that money we budgeted? That's
It's
where,
money that we have budgeted. Well, $3,000 is the only thing that we have budgeted for the district conference.
okay,
What I'm hoping to do is there is money that is earmarked for other items, such as district meetings and conference. In our district budget, it's $5,000. I'd like to borrow
oh, I
2,500
see.
of that.
Okay, I
District
got you.
Learning Assembly Conference, same thing, was 5,000. I'd like to borrow 2,500. Awards,
I assume you already
badges.
talked to Jeannie about this, correct?
Yes, Jeannie and I and Bob have talked about this,
Okay,
yes.
all right, I thought like somebody was gonna mail us a check from Rotary International or something, I just didn't get.
That would
I
be
mean,
wonderful.
that's all fine. I just wanted to, as long as you guys have talked about it and don't mind taking the money from other locations, I certainly don't have a problem with it. We can certainly talk about it if we really want to put it to a vote from the finance committee, but I mean, it is basically meetings that are going to be held and they're not going to be used for there, so let's use them where they need to be
Right.
used.
And the reason for doing this is if everybody paid their fair share without any subsidy, the conference would cost $150 per person. We're trying to bring the cost of the conference for all of our district members to $100. Now, I
I'm
did
trying to make it affordable.
making it affordable, and I did a scenario based on how many attendees. I don't know whether you saw that or not. I mean, if we are on the hook for, we've guaranteed 150 people, and that's what we have to pay for. So that's $21,000, $22,432.54, all other costs in. And so if we have 150 people, we'll actually make a profit of $1,000 and $1,067. If we have 175 attendees, we make a profit of $170. We go to 200, we lose $726, which is not horrible. Now, this is based on things that I could anticipate. There will be costs, I'm sure, that I can't anticipate or haven't anticipated. So this is a best guess at the budget. I think it's
So this is the
reasonably,
rosiest budget then.
I think it's reasonably good because we know the fixed cost for the Imperial, which is the big cost. Things like the AV equipment, $1,250. Well, I have someone that may donate that equipment, so we may not need that. But if not, we may need additional equipment. We may need another $1,250 in equipment for the second room for the breakout sessions. So I'm working on that. So that's where we are with that. Badges, awards, that sort of thing. You know, it's small dollars. So that's where we are based on, you know, how many people we get. We'll
And
either-
what has history showed us, that we're probably going to get the 125?
Well, it's no, with the district conferences that we've had, like in Gettysburg and other places, I think we've had probably less than from our district, less than 100 people. But
Now, the
again,
past two, I can answer that. The past two district conferences, we had approximately almost 60 people attending from our district, and half of them were like guests and spouses and all that, right? So we're talking about very small. The attendance was poor, if that's the word I can use.
mhm.
But of course, that's very different. It's not one day. This is totally different. So we had a hard time trying to estimate how many people will actually attend one-day conference. The only, we have not had any experience with one-day conference. We
Well,
had,
wouldn't the training assembly be something similar that we could use as a guesstimate?
no, that will not be, because the district training assembly in past years, every year we told all the clubs that they had to send 2 individuals to qualify for district grants. So the attendance is from that. It's not from individual members wanting to attend.
Gotcha.
It was a requirement.
All right. Well,
So I guess we can really talk about what's affordable. This is totally new. I believe we're putting together a very innovative new type of program for the conference. So it's up to how how smart we are to promote the event
Mhm.
and get people excited about attending. I
We
think
should
that's
talk, we should
right.
talk about that for just a moment.
Yeah.
April is our 7th Avenue of Focus, which is the environment. So more than half of this event will be dedicated to the environment. The breakout sessions, the a plenary speaker or the featured speaker will be doing something with the environment. We have some fairly unique things that will happen in the breakout sessions. For the morning sessions, it's going to be more motivational, more, I have someone from Dale Carnegie, a tremendous, wonderful presenter, Radia Carr. You can look up her bio or however you look at her. I've taken classes with Dale Carnegie. She's marvelous, and she'll be motivational. She'll work on team building and just kind of get the event started in the morning. You know, we have 2 hours with 40 minutes with her, and then a couple of an hour and a half or so in breakout sessions in the morning with motivation and team building and membership and that sort of thing. So it's very unique, the whole conference. It's from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're not serving breakfast. We're not having things in between, a lot of fluff for frivolous things. We have lunch, which is going to be like sandwiches, and a sit-down dinner or buffet dinner, which is going to be an international style dinner. There'll be food from all over. So, I mean, I think it'll be very interesting for people to attend. It's centrally located. It's in Somerset. It's on Easton Avenue, right off of 287 at the Imperia, which is I've run several events there with my club, with the New Brunswick Club. They're wonderful to do business with. The rooms are beautiful, and the service is very good. So let's hope we get our share of attendees, that they see it the way I do.
All right, so basically we're in order for us to make your $1,000, we need 2 from every club, almost.
And we'll have more than that. From some clubs won't come at all, as you know. Some clubs will send being.
No, just to get an idea. I mean, it's not like we're asking for crazy numbers. It's not like we need 5 people from a club. We only need 2 people from every club, and that would put us, you
We'll
know,
have the minimum. Yep.
Yeah.
at the minimum. So
So it's an issue of affordability. We will do our best to market this event and make it fun, right? And I guess the question is, from the affordability standpoint, how do you feel? You know your clubs, you know your neighboring clubs, right? So what do you think it's a price point that that's not going to be an obstacle for people to attend?
well, it won't be a problem for my club. My club, they cover the cost of this, so that's not an issue. So
Oh,
I guess
so
you
you
gotta
can
look
send
at.
35 people.
Well, no, because I can't go because it's April 5th.
Well,
34 maybe.
Why is the minimum 150 people?
That's a contract.
That's the contract.
We can't lower that because
No,
that's
that
the whole
was
issue.
their minimum. That's their minimum to have the entire first floor and then the crystal ballroom. That was their minimum attendees. That room will hold 500 people. I don't know what happens if we have 500 people. How much of a
We have
loss?
500 people. We'll be in great shape.
Well, we'll be in
No,
a
not
tremendous
money-wise.
loss.
No, I mean, the district will be in great shape. Even if
Oh,
we lose
without a
money,
doubt,
it'll be well
yes.
worth it because if we have 500 people interested in coming, that would be amazing.
Oh, I agree on that side of it. Yes.
So this is the question, right? We want as many people to come as possible, but if more people to come and we're subsidizing, then we'll have an issue money-wise. But hey, I'm thinking if we're going to have 500 people, that's a good problem to have, actually.
No, absolutely. And it's not like we don't have a huge surplus that we're sitting on anyway. So, I mean,
Right.
again, we've got these advantages over all these years that we've accumulated all this extra money. So instead of giving, everybody a $20 deduction in dues over the next 5 years, maybe we only do it over the next 4 years if that's the case. But
Right.
I don't see this being a problem. Let's see what the one day does. I mean, like you said, it's a brand new initiative. Let's see what happens. You may get more people being one day, taking one day off, going to it. You may get a couple of people. I think we need to try it and see what happens, and we'll learn from it.
Well, it's a Saturday, which helps. So most people don't work on Saturday, although I used to. But I mean, who wouldn't pay $100 to see Jeannie and Bob talk? So
I mean, that to me is worth
that's
the price
cheap
of
at half
admission
the
right
price.
there.
I can tell you that's not going to be one of the marketing thing we do. But club members will be also, Joe didn't mention exhibitors. So this is an opportunity for clubs and Rotarians to mingle, of course, to network, to connect with others. We simply don't have a lot of in-person events this year. That's one thing. And they can learn something about the environment, about, some little bit about Rotary. Our director will talk to the district about the importance of change, about what's coming down the pipeline from Rotary International. And also, it will be a tremendous opportunity for Rotarians and clubs to find new ideas for service projects, for growth of their membership, and a place to exchange ideas, really. Yep.
I think, Joe, you should do a video similar to what you just said to us about all that's included. And then when you communicate with the clubs, you just send out the video.
Yep.
That's a great idea. That's a
And
great-
even if it goes, I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm assuming it'll go to all Rotarians in the district. All they have to do is click on your link there and watch the video and hear you talk enthusiastically about what a great day it's going to be. And I think that'll help promote, people to attend.
I think it will be a great day. So it's, yeah, I am very enthusiastic about
Yeah,
the event.
I thought about someone who did our RILA last year, may be able to help us to actually put that, one of the road directors from our RILA program last year to put together that video for us.
We're also having a global scholar do a video from Scotland on the environment. She's one of the new global scholars that we sent off this year.
That's
So
our scholar.
Isabel, Michael,
Isabel.
Yeah, good.
no, Isabel.
She's
Mhm.
very good speaker.
So she'll have a 15-minute presentation as part of the whole thing. So yeah, we've got some interesting speakers lined up already, and well, anyway, I'm excited about it.
So, Herb and Rick, any opinion about, we're proposing $100 price point or 99, whatever number you use, Joe.
I figured 100 for this spreadsheet, but it can one less dollar. is-
Yeah, I think $100 is very reasonable, and one day is, I think, something worth exploring. We won't know unless we try it.
And we'll tell people that we're subsidizing because, two meals in the entire day. I mean, that's 150. We're subsidizing, a third of the cost.
I think 100 is very reasonable. I think it's almost necessary to make it cheaper to see if we can get more people there. I mean, we all know, any of us that have been in Rotary for some period of time, the first Rotary district conference I went to was up in the Catskills someplace, and we had 800 people.
Mhm.
You know, those days have gone.
And how many thousands of dollars you have to pay, right?
Yeah, for the hotel and everything
It was
else.
fairly expensive then, yeah. But I mean, I think this is reasonable, and you get the word out fast enough, I think maybe you'll attract some people.
There is a hotel, by the way, right next to and affiliated with the Imperia. If anyone from any of the areas, from Sussex or anywhere else that they feel that they want to stay overnight, it's a reasonably priced hotel right next to the Imperia. The parking will accommodate over 500 cars, so the parking is free. There are a lot of pluses for this place.
All right.
Laura and Bob, anything?
Nope, I think we gotta give it a try and we gotta promote it well. So,
All right, let's see what happens. And, if things update, just let us
Yep.
know so that we can anticipate that. But again, like I said, I think we have plenty of surplus that should some of this not work, we've got enough to cover. It's not like it's going to hurt us. So let's see what happens. All right, on to old business. Credit card. We had a long discussion today. Did everybody get all those emails? Was the entire committee on those emails, or was it only? Yeah, it was everybody? Okay. So everybody's basically up to date on where we're at with the credit card deal, and we're trying to implement it for the RILA mostly, but also help with the Zoom and whatnot to get all that off of someone's personal credit card. Does anybody have any problems with that as as a generality, Bob is going to work on the mop to make sure that gets cleaned up to a point where everybody's going to be happy. But in general, is everybody okay with that?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Well, you know, as far as the mob is concerned, it's Joe is the chair this year. Bob and Ellie are on that committee, so it's perfect.
And
We're
I
discussing
used to
it.
proofread for a living, so I'm happy to be your extra set of eyes. And
Oh,
where it says
super.
the DG has to sign every check, we have to clarify that, except for the district governor funding account, where you're not allowed to sign. So, you know, there's just some inconsistencies in the document, you know,
That's great.
that kind of thing.
All right. Did we get a contract for the district conference, and was that go through the system? Everybody okay with that?
We did get a contract. We updated there was, as Bob had pointed out in one of our meetings, there was some accounting issues going on with our club. They've all been rectified, especially with our foundation. So all of that has been rectified. We made the changes. Elliot recommended some changes, and so did Jeannie and Bob, to the contract, which we made. And the Imperia was amenable to them. We initialed them, and I went there in person and signed it. We put down a deposit, and Laura has already reimbursed the Rotary Club of New Brunswick. Thank you, Laura, for doing that so expeditiously.
And the
Okay.
second payment is when? So Laura knows?
I believe it's February 2nd.
Okay,
I'll let you know in advance.
I'm here.
All right, very good. Anything else anybody wants to bring up on their old business?
Not old business, but new business.
All right, I'm getting
Oh,
there.
yeah, old business from last meeting. Michael, last time we had to cut off a discussion because we were all running to different meetings and holiday parties. One of the discussion we had was there's some leftover money from prior years for the raffle program. And you're looking into what we need to do with that extra, how we're gonna, whether or not you're gonna decide whether or not a portion is going to go back to all those participating clubs. I don't know if you have any update about that from the your foundation members.
Yeah, we reviewed the raffle accounts and the project report. And actually, over the past 5 years, 3 of the raffles had excess funds. 2 of the raffles were in the hole a little bit. Not so bad, but you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. So what we're doing now is we're
Eating.
anticipating a minimum amount for the checking account to go year to year, which we think is going to be $5,000. All the rest of the money will be apportioned back to the 3 raffles that showed a profit, so to speak. And the money will be further apportioned to the clubs based on the number of tickets that they sold. So all that groundwork has been done. About $13,000 or $14,000 will go out to clubs.
Oh, wow, great.
And
You'll be happy
overall,
to receive that money, whoever participated, right?
well, yeah, it's going to take a little explaining because whoever gets the check now doesn't know about what happened 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to try to break out the amounts. It's going to be one check to cover any of the 3 years they participated. So some clubs participated 1 year and never again. Others participated every year, but they'll get a check explaining which years it covers, and then it'll be an amount of several $100s to over $1,000 for a couple of clubs who sell lots of tickets.
Okay, that
And my
sounds-
board has just approved that today, actually. So all I have to do is the grunt work. But I will say, Jeannie, this is an issue where honestly, I need to get into Club Runner a little deeper than I'm allowed. There's no way to find out the address for clubs, to send them a check, because I can't see the clubs, and I can't see what the club address is. So something's got to be done because it's very difficult to work
Michael?
without having further access to get.
Yeah, one
Not-
thing good that you can do that we can help is send me the list of those clubs. We just grant access to those clubs. So it's not a big deal. You have the list already. You have to return money to them, right? So
Well, it's like, I think
We'll work it out.
the total list is 70 clubs. That's just about everybody.
all 70 clubs participated?
No, I say there are 70 clubs between the 3 years, 70 clubs. Some of them have gone out of business. So maybe of the active clubs today, there might be 68 or maybe 67. But there's quite a few clubs that have participated. But whatever, I just need to have some way to get club information so I can either email them, send them, mail them out their check with an explanatory letter or something. I can't look up club addresses now.
Well, we can help. Meaning I can help or Barry can help. We'll talk offline about that.
Okay.
We want to make it easy. So, without violating any policy. So we'll try to figure something out.
How did that surplus come about? The only way you can have a surplus is people didn't cash their checks.
Well, there were some that didn't cash their checks. There was 1 year where the amount per ticket sold was less than the other years. Most years it's $9.75. 1 year I noticed it was $9.50. I'm not sure why. The year before that we had lost money, so that may have been the reason, just being cautious. I don't know. But we're looking at this year, trying to further refine the amount that will be given per check without going over. So I think this year it'll be more than $9.75.
But the rules of a 50-50, the state rules are you give back half of what you bring in.
Well, listen, Bob, I filed 5 LGCC reports, and not one of them has come back saying you violated the law. When we file for the ticket, we put down what percentage they're getting as a prize, as percentages. Never had a problem. You can't give back half the money if otherwise you're eating the expenses every year. And I give them the report. It says the expenses on the raffle were raffle printing, their own fees, to the borough or to community's fees. It's all on there and it's always accepted. It's not a problem.
But I'm not going to get into it, but that money comes from the 50% that you keep, not the 50% that goes back to the winners.
We don't keep 50% of anything.
Well, I understand there's always expenses.
Yeah, but there's no profit for us
Right.
on the
Foundation
raffle.
doesn't keep anything. 50% goes to the winners, 50% goes back to the clubs.
Well, back to the
that sold
clubs,
it.
but okay.
Less the expenses.
That's what he's getting at, though, Bob. He's just saying that the foundation doesn't make anything on it. It's the money's distributed, but apparently there was some, I guess, accounting issues, so they're working those out.
Okay.
And they're usually very accommodating because we had 1 year where our 50-50 for our street fair was problematic, we'll say. And the state allowed us to make any corrections, so there was no real problem. So I'm sure if there's something that needs to be done, I'm sure the state will accommodate and be okay with it as long as they make good on it.
And let me just say, the same process was used when 7470 Foundation was handling this. It was $9.75 profit as the guideline. I don't know that the few years I was involved when that was still being handled by 7470. I don't remember any time it went different from 975. It's just the formula that seems to work. You know, one year or a couple of those years, we had more expenses. I don't know what they were sitting here right now. So that's why we lost a little money. But the idea is to get back to the point where we're more closely watching the expenses and increasing the amount per ticket so that we don't accumulate more than about $5,000 in the checking account to run from year to year. So that's what it's going to be. And I think everybody will be happy.
Okay.
All right. Larry, did you say new business? We
New
do have
business.
one? Okay, we do have one. As you all know, we are still in the middle of this discussing the NJ Rotary Collaborative Initiative. And so when we are ready to roll out the information, make the announcement in the coming days, we will also be announcing that we're going to do an in-person event. So that event will we will incur some costs for that event. So currently we are thinking about changing one of our Zoom monthly leadership meeting to an in-person event. And I can't remember how much per person last time we looked at it. Is it 30, 40, 25? 25, right, Bob?
I thought it was 30 or 35 is what they charged, but I'm not, I'd have to go back. I don't remember.
So it's a small amount. We're not talking about 100 or $150. We're talking about, you know, maybe $30, $35, whatever that amount is per person. And we at these leadership events, if you, some of you remember, we're not talking about a lot of people attending. So there will be a cost associated with that, and we do have some budget for district meetings. 5,000, I think we talked about. Joe talked about that earlier, and is that right, Joe? 5,000? We just looked at it yesterday.
Yes,
District
it was
meeting,
5,000, yes.
right?
And
So
we
even,
talked 2,500 already out, right?
right, so we still have some money there.
Still got 2,500 sitting there for use. So
We still have money for the May meeting because we're going to need,
The May meeting is not district meeting. The May meeting, it's district learning assembly. Different line item.
okay.
District learning assembly, it's another line item for 5,000.
Yes. And we were gonna borrow 2,500 off of that.
For that.
And if we're doing it the way we did it last year, it was a few $100s for the food because the venue was free. If we want to repeat that again.
okay.
Larry, I did open up QuickBooks and those two checks that were stale, I didn't do anything to change the June 30th balances. I just did it by journal entry to close out the Fulton Bank account.
Okay.
Where are we on getting the credit card? Because if we're going to be using that for the Japan program, it's going to be pretty
It
quick.
should be approved within a week or so. I filled out at the bank, I guess it was about a week ago. I went over maybe it was last Wednesday, and it just, you know, I got the email saying thank you for your application, blah, blah, blah. Like I stood there with the woman. It wasn't Lisa, it was somebody else at the Madison branch. And she typed everything in and copied and pasted from our account information on file. So we should hear in a week or so and get the physical card.
And what type of credit line would we have on that?
I forgot to ask that. I don't know.
Because I mean, you see the price of the airfare on there. If it's gonna be used, it's gotta be,
I can ask. I mean, we do have, hundreds of thousands of dollars on deposit, which they will see when they assess the credit card application. So I'm pretty sure if American Express will give me $20,000 credit line, we probably are gonna get at least that, but. Honestly, we didn't even think to ask that.
When we did the Japan trips, and we had our credit card, the bulk of the payments, even for the airline tickets, went to the travel agency by check. So it turned out we didn't need to use the card as much as Jim and I thought initially. And our credit line was 15,000, which I think it was Capital One that we had. They ended up reducing it in the subsequent year because we weren't using it as much. But we still had enough room for him to do the purchases that he found necessary on the credit card. Things you run to Home Depot or you run to one of the stores to buy something. That's really what it turned out to be for, more than the bigger ticket expenses. That's just our experience. I think it'll probably hold true, but maybe it won't.
Yeah, I remember paying the bus company by check mostly. It was just when the bank accounts got shut down and we were in extremis there for a few weeks that Jim had to pay by credit card. And of course, that incurs an upcharge sometimes, depending on.
I guess part of it is what I think Bob is alluding to is we may not be using a travel agent for the tickets, right? Is that what you were getting at, Bob?
no, we are using Jim has been using a travel agent. It's the travel agent, Zell, which is the
Okay.
Essex.
So as long as we're still using a travel agent, if she'll take a check, we should be fine with what we've got. If you get a $15,000 or $20,000 limit, that should be fine. But again, let's see
Yeah,
what
if they
happens.
take a check, then it's no problem. We're problem solved. So I don't know. I don't know what their rules are.
All right. Well, once we know, we'll find out and we'll see what we need to do to fix whatever needs to be fixed along the way.
I mean, it's the youth exchange division of the credit card company, so they may be used to taking checks
Right.
for this stuff.
Right. And like Mike's got the history there, so I'm sure they're not going to give us a hard time knowing that it's just replaced from one to the other, because I don't think they know the difference. So, all right, very good. Any other new business? I know we're running up against a hard break, so I don't want to.
One concern, we have a member who we have not seen. I'm not sure, did you, Larry,
mean
get
this
any, okay. So I don't, Elroy, right? We have not seen him at all, so I don't know what's going on.
No.
Would you please reach out? We
I
never
can
see him,
reach
right?
out to Elroy.
Yeah.
Wasn't he here last month or the month before? No?
It wasn't last month, but he was here before.
Yeah, I remember him being
Maybe
here.
the first meeting or something.
Oh, maybe it was that long ago? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll check with him and see if everything's okay.
yeah. That would be good because we do want, representative from that region to be present every time.
All right, well, the next meeting is February 20th. Mark it down. That meeting will need to be extra short, as well as the March meeting will need to be extra short. Or I'll just beg out early and Jeannie or Laura can run it.
Okay, I will be in Southeast Asia from February 25th or 6th till March 20th. on a trip.
Okay, we need to reschedule the March 20th meeting then. Because Larry is not available, right? Larry's not available. All three of us are at pets. And Laura is vacationing.
All right, well, why don't we reschedule that to April 18th or 17th?
So just skip March?
Skip March. Unless something comes up that we really need to address for the March meeting, let's skip March and go to April then, since it's gonna be a completely different week, which of course is gonna throw everybody else's calendars out.
What's the date in April?
17th.
Okay,
Well,
So we will
it's a
have-
regularly scheduled meeting, April 17th.
Right.
Yeah.
We will have a February 20th, and then we will, at least for now, we're gonna say we're not gonna meet in March, but we will meet again in April.
Okay,
We're gonna have to
Alright.
make sure that
Action.
we make arrangements, since you're not gonna be here, because we need a check at Pets.
right. So just let me know what you need in advance, you know. And I can give a stack of checks to Judy and someone else, you can manually write it and have somebody else sign. If need be, in an emergency.
Yep.
But if you know the pet's number or Pels or whatever the heck we're supposed to call it, I can write that.
We won't know the exact number till we know how many people actually show up and register and all that, so that's, we
By
won't know
that
it.
time, you'll be back, Laura.
Oh, okay,
Last year, yeah, I remember last year when we sent a check after, like, couple of days after the fact.
okay.
Right. Which they weren't happy about, from my understanding. I think that's,
Right.
we had some they had some concern about that, but they at least accommodated us, and we made our payments, so hopefully they won't hold that
Yeah.
against us.
Give
Mm.
them a hefty deposit and then settle up with it, whatever.
The
afterwards.
balance. That's certainly an option, so. All right, well, we can talk about that offline. We don't have to hold everybody up, and like I said, I know
And
we're coming
there's
up
one
against
more
your hard
thing,
break.
next year's budget, so, we need to kind of have a preliminary review of next year's budget.
Right, and
We need to
also,
decide
you should
when.
and get together with Laura at least, and whoever else you want on your committee to kind of get that going, because I think you have to have that to the president's for the,
Pets,
for Pats. You presented at Pats, but then it's not voted on until
right, but we need something before we can,
before Pats,
that means, yep,
so. And if you need help, Bob, like, I can help you, but it'll be, kind of have to be in the next 2 weeks, so.
All right, I'll add it to the list.
there's so much to do. I didn't even think of it when I talked to Bob like 10 times already today.
Will there be much change from this year? Can we kind of just like use this year's as a draft?
Well, usually that's how it starts. It starts with that, but then Bob may have certain initiatives he wants to specifically address.
Okay,
And, again, it's a place to start. And then, he can make adjustments from there based on what he thinks meets his goals and objectives.
All right, thanks, everyone.
All right, guys,
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful
All
rest of
right.
your
All right.
evening.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right.